What's really going on? Bitcoin, cryptocurrency today. Going to be taking a look at XRP against USDT on the Binance chart. Going to be taking a look at some of the key technical aspects of price action moving forward. Going to be assessing some of these key levels I believe we're going to be interacting with, as XRP does seem to be continuing this phase of correction. We have broken down from this ascending trend line into a kind of new pattern that we will be kind of assessing moving forward. Let me know what you're doing with your XRP. If you have one, do you trade XRP? Do you hold XRP, or are you just watching the chart unfold? There's quite a mixed sort of opinion about XRP. There is the die-hard holders, and then there's also those who don't have faith in XRP. So it's a bit of a mixed reaction as price action is unfolding. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you're doing with your XRP. Try EngineeringRobo free with link in the description, and let's get right into it. To kind of recap price action moving forward, that's this kind of a phase of accumulation. I want to call accumulation and sideways between this very huge zone under 77 cents around the end of November of 2020, all the way to breaking 77 cents back in the beginning of April of 2021. So from the end of November to the beginning of April of this year, we were rejected under 77 cents there, trading all the way down to lows of like 21 cents, 19 cents even, for a good like 130 days. So over 3 months of consolidation sideways between these very volatile ranges, trading up, down, and then between the both of them, finally breaking upward, creating some higher highs, interacting with almost $2 there, finally surpassing $1, interacting with almost $2, getting rejected, having a very aggressive correction all the way back down to 90 cents from $1.96, a 54% correction over the course of just over a week. We ultimately found support just above $1.06 there, rallying up to print a lower high relative to $1.96. We got rejected off of resistance found around $1.65. Printing that lower high, coming back down. I do suspect price action, since we are falling through support around $1.50. I just suspect us to interact with kind of $1.15 is my kind of next kind of local area of support, with lows around $1.05. And so I see price action, since falling through that ascending trend line there. I see perhaps a new pattern unfolding. A pattern somewhat like this. I would suspect price action to trade within this range moving forward. I anticipate a break upward, in my opinion, although I have to go with the flow of momentum, and we could very well break downward and see some kind of lower targets before we kind of continue upward. Prices could very well break downward, bounce, and have to, move their way kind of sideways and continue back upward, or we could very well, find support, break upward, and continue to the multi-dollar range for XRP. So there's lots going on. We are in the middle of a consolidation pattern. We're in the middle of accumulation, and we are waiting for the breakout. I suspect a break upward, although momentum could change at any moment. When we consider EngineeringRobo, along with these Fibonacci, Fibba Lamborghini, Fibba Zucchini, Fibba Illuminati, Fibba everything you could imagine lines, sacred geometry and science, mathematics tell us that price action could find support along this 0.618 line around $1.25. Failure to hold there will bring us down to the 0.5 line around $1.03. And say we find support along the 0.618, we can interact with that 0.786 again around $1.57, and that will be our next kind of area of significant resistance, the next kind of projection zone if we go up to there. Now we are, if you see the kind of fear and greed index, the FOMO zone is up here, this red zone, and so we've already had one rejection from the FOMO zone back at the middle of April of 2021, when we got that rejection off of $1.96. And so what we had was one of the two outcomes that occur upon entering the FOMO zone. We could either stay bullish and price action could rally aggressively, tops could get bought, and the rally could continue in a very volatile manner. Although in the FOMO zone, very high sell pressure is present. In addition to FOMO, although the sell pressure could win, and we could come flying back out of it and then trade sideways upon going for our next kind of interaction with it, or we can kind of continue downward. And so I suspect another interaction with the FOMO zone, supported by prices still bullish. EngineeringRobo is still bullish with the buy 4, although the sell signal present is this hell, and so the combination of a buy 4 and hell does suspect this kind of sideways with a tendency to break upward. And so that's usually kind of what is suggested when these kind of signals kind of combine like that. When we consider the kind of fear zone here. Say you're accumulating end of December, beginning of January of 21. Your last chance to accumulate was the end of January of 2021, and you sold at that first interaction with the FOMO zone there. You made 562% in just over 2 months there, 76 days. And so now, the fear and greed index is more for holders and investors kind of thing that want to just buy and hold through this kind of crazy sideways and aggressive, accumulation. This is not a strategy more for traders. Traders can utilize the fear and greed index to suggest potential market tops kind of thing. This does have a potential to suggest a market top, and prices could become very midterm bearish for like weeks to perhaps months before continuing upward, as the fear zone will need to rise. And so there's lots going on for XRP. Waiting for the breakout. We're in the middle of accumulation. When we consider the price of XRP against the price of Bitcoin, Bitcoin doesn't know what it's doing. It's going through a bit of an episode at the moment. If you're following my analysis, you would have heard me suggest that we could have very well broken down from resistance around 57K, and so far we have, and everything has been kind of selling off over the past kind of couple days here. And so aside from that, taking a look at XRP here, we see some bullish accumulation between my zones here of 2262 Satoshi and under 2884 Satoshi. And so I suspect price action to bounce between these ranges for a period of time before we ultimately continue upward, in my opinion. We are creating some higher highs. This wick at the 6th of May of 2021 is a higher high relative to a wick in the 14th of April of 2021. Which is quite bullish to me still, short-term bullish. And if we find support above my 2266 Satoshi line, that is a higher low relative to price action back at the 23rd of April and like 24th, 25th kind of thing. And so I'm looking for higher lows and higher highs as we continue upward. We consider EngineeringRobo along with these Fibba Zucchini lines. We can see price action correlating nicely with these kind of key ranges here. The 0.618 line around 2016 Satoshi, a very bearish target that we could continue to accumulate to sideways. Failure to hold the 0.5 level around 2439 Satoshi will bring us down most likely at a 0.618. We have resistance correlating with the 0.382 line around 2881 Satoshi. So that does seem like to be the significant rejection level there. If we can close above that, we can get up to that 236 level at 3407. And so when we consider the bull or bear suggestions in play here, we can see we have a moon and cloud buy as bullish long term, and we have prices closing above this 200 daily moving average, which is also very bullish long term, as this is the price against Bitcoin chart. Although we have this sell 4 here, which does suggest perhaps some continued sideways, and so we very well could see perhaps another rejection lower high off of the 0.382 line there and come back down to that 0.5 line, or very well on my support line around 2265 Satoshi. And so with that sell 4 present on the kind of XRP against Bitcoin chart, that does leave me very, very short-term bearish, and does suspect that we could see some continued sideways, especially as Bitcoin is going through its sort of episode at the moment. And so say Bitcoin has some volatile fluctuations, the whole crypto market will fluctuate with it. And so XRP could have some more dips kind of moving forward, although we are still looking long-term quite bullish with the moon and cloud buy and above the 200 MA. And so speaking of Bitcoin, when we consider the price of Bitcoin against USDT on the Binance chart, we can see lots going on here. We have prices getting rejected off of that dreaded slapping zone, kicking, spitting, and punching zone that I suggested above 57K there. And so that resistance has been very, very significant since since the end of April, beginning of May there, when we kind of shot up to it. And so now we do seem to be printing a pattern that I've been suggesting for over a week now, since this rejection. Prints prices, we're trading up in this accumulating pattern here. This does seem to look like a break downward, a retest upward, and then, it wasn't until just recently did we confirm this as potentially a, retest upward and continuation downward. It did look like that we were going to recover, and, prices were going to look very bullish again. And so, I was still quite bullish. I am still quite bullish on long-term on Bitcoin. And at the moment, a couple days ago, I was still quite short-term bullish, although I was very aware that this break downward was a very high possibility, and so this was a lot of resistance, prices being rejected off of this range, lower highs, and so this trade downward was not surprising, in my opinion. And so this W pattern that I've suggested as well does seem to be a potential reality that is now back to possible again. We have fallen through that 0.786 line. We've fallen through my support around 49K. We've fallen through support around 47K. We wicked all the way down to 46K, like 45.9, which is very, very, very scary, very briefly for many new traders, I believe, or I'm sure. But this wick downward, this flash crash dip, is a higher low compared to a flash dip down to 42K back in the 28th of February of this year. So ultimately, I believe if we can find support above that wick there, around 45K, 46K, we are still bullish. And now, 50K is going to be our next kind of significant key level of support moving forward. I do believe prices could be trapped around above 47.9 and just under this 0.786 line around 51,780. So 47.9 and 51.7 are my kind of ranges that I believe Bitcoin could get trapped in the kind of near future here. We have the super sell and sell 4 coming into play, but during all this sideways, you never really know with the volatility of this kind of motion, and so these buy signals could very well return. But this was a very, very, very significant sell-off, and this candle closed in a very bearish manner, which is why I'm not surprised that these sell signals printed. And so, I mean, even when we were analyzing the super buy and buy 4, this hell was present the entire time. And so, I mean, with a super buy and buy 4 and a hell present, you can suspect some sideways, and a break upward is typically expected. You have more bullish signals than bearish, although the significance of the hell is not to be messed with. And there's other technicals in play that suggested that we could have very well have broken down. It wasn't until the fundamentals released by Elon Musk regarding Tesla's decision to cease transactions with Bitcoin that we suddenly seemed to crash out of nowhere, and it seems to be this big panic. But technicals comes first, math always comes first. Got to go with the flow of the market. Got to know when to get in and when to get out. Still bullish on Bitcoin. I'm still bullish on XRP. We could see some prolonged sideways. I'm not sure if we can recover as nicely as we did, or as aggressively as we did when we came off of 64K. Although I do suspect we can still see 6 figures in the coming year here. Thank you for hearing my analysis. Try EngineeringRobo, free with the link in the description. Subscribe here on YouTube. Check out all the other social media down below. Let me know what you're doing with your bag. Do you trade? Do you hold? And tune in for the next one.